Is that FDIC insured?
Honestly, I don't know.
You're like, it's been working so far, so.
They're too big to fail.
Yeah, too big to fail, hopefully. Knock on wood.
Just like Silicon Valley Bank.
Yeah, just like SVB.
Yeah.
Our money was in SVB, by the way.
Oh,
So is our
wow.
companies, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I remember that. Everyone was very stressed.
I knew they're gonna get bailed out. I wasn't worried for a second. Oh, you are right. You came here
Mhm.
for episode 20.
How does that feel?
Welcome to the crib.
This is episode 20?
This is episode 20.
Oh, my goodness. Cheers.
Oh, my gosh, wait, me too.
Cheers all around.
I know. You came at a perfect. We're going to grill you fucking like crazy today.
That's good. 20 better be big.
Good thing you lost your voice for this whole ordeal.
Okay. You know, I haven't been talking all day. I've been saving up.
Nice.
I bet you're dead ass too. He's with Slade. You were with Slade. You just weren't saying
Yeah, he
anything.
was sitting right there. I wouldn't talk to him. He thought I was like pissed at him or something.
Man, why is he mad at me?
Yeah.
I'd appreciate you hopping on. By the way, you're telling us this is your first time ever in a podcast.
First time. Yep. First time ever.
How you feel? Are you excited? Nervous?
I don't really know. Yeah. I think I'm just generally curious. Like, do you guys find that your conversation reaches deeper bounds when you're on a podcast?
Ooh,
We've reached some weird bounds for sure.
weird bounds, not sure about deep. Definitely weird.
Because
Right.
financially speaking, it depends.
Mm-hmm.
It's not usually super weird.
Sometimes we'll get a little deep, but then we get uncomfortably confused.
I'm comfortably confused. Okay.
Are there deep confessions you want to talk
yeah,
about?
I mean, we're
maybe-
open. We're open to it. Just
Right.
Yeah.
So you guys are
don't
like,
expect a deep response back.
A warm response.
so it's like a therapist. I can basically say anything.
Oh,
I can expect
you
a
could-
certain
yeah,
you
you
can
can
vet.
say
Yeah,
anything
you
you
can vet.
want.
Okay.
Just don't-
Financially.
yeah.
Good to know. But
Yeah,
not
or
emotionally.
not,
Okay.
and we'll just get to know you a bit better. Not sure how much we'll make it.
Okay.
We didn't give you a nickname, by the way. What's your what's the nickname you want to use?
So let me just understand what's with the nicknames.
It's to keep anonymity.
What?
Anonymity.
Oh, I can't even say.
Anonymity.
No. Anonymity? Anonymity.
And yeah.
No. That's not right, is it?
Oh, it sounded right.
I don't know what the word is.
Neither do I.
It's to keep that.
Right.
So, but it's up to you. Like we could use your first
Yeah, you
name
don't
if you
have to.
don't.
Some
If
people
you don't
don't.
give a shit, yeah.
I don't really care.
Okay, then we could.
Right.
We'll stick with your first name, Mr. Dave.
I like that. I like
Mr.
the way
David.
that sounds, yeah.
Thanks for coming on the show. I know it's not easy to talk about your finances, and especially when your vocal cords are ripped up. That I'm sure that adds an extra layer. But did you prepare for this show or
No, I have no preparation.
Honestly, great.
Perfect, because
Yeah.
we're gonna ask you the hard hitting questions here about your finances, how you're managing them today, and what you typically spend money on. But to kick things off, maybe talking a little bit about what you currently do today and how much money you're making.
Got it. So currently I am an account executive at a startup. So basically I joined the company like 9 months ago. And at that point, there wasn't a product that was in the market. In fact, there isn't currently a product that's in the market. So it's a little bit of an untraditional account executive role. So basically when I started the company, or I started at the company, what I would do is I would reach out to people who we thought would likely be buyers of the software that we were building.
Without having a product yet?
We had a product, but it was still very early stage.
Okay, I got you.
So basically within those calls, we were asking questions to further scope the product, but then also looking for like early partners who would be like, yes, this is such a big problem for us. We want to try it, even though it's not fully baked. And then we'll give you feedback, but then we'll get it for discount.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you were this whole time. How much you say you're making there, by the way?
So the way the comp works is, so it's 125 base, then the variable is 40K, so 165, but they're just paying out the full because it's like pre-product still.
Yeah.
So like
That's
I kind of worked
interesting
out
that
that
there's
deal.
like a base pre-product. That's cool. Is that how most startups?
If you got funding, yeah, you'll still get paid.
Oh.
You'll still get
Wow.
paid.
Did you all get funding?
Yeah, so we raised $10 million.
Oh shit!
Damn.
Yeah.
Seed?
Seed.
Oh, hell
Actually,
yeah.
sorry, Series A.
Oh, Series A. Oh.
Yeah, it's different because most startups, they'll do a seed for the stage that we were at, but the VC firm that we're working with, it's called Greylock, and they do these incubations where they'll bring in entrepreneurs and who partner with like their VCs, and then they'll do a Series A, which is a little non-traditional, but they'll do the Series A super early, and they'll incubate within the VC essentially.
Yeah.
So most companies our stage would have seed or Series A. I don't really know if there's a consequence to that, but that's just how things are.
Nice.
I guess, yeah, it all depends, because I mean, we don't have to get into too much detail about that business today, but Ron's, for typically how raising works, it usually goes like pre-seed, seed.
Mm-hmm.
You're giving up like 20% of your company because you still don't have a product market fit. You don't have really an idea.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine that you're able to raise millions just off an idea, maybe an MVP, right?
Wow.
Once you start to get into Series A, Series B, usually all Series A, Series B means it's another round of funding.
So how close is this to like Silicon Valley, the show?
It's a spot. It's like exactly how they got funding.
Wow.
Same exact thing. Yeah. So the show like obviously mocked and joked around about it,
but it's like pretty to the nail.
because people get funding off crazy shit in Silicon Valley. The show is what I'm saying, but it happens in real life too.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
But it's cool. I didn't know your company got 10 million funding, and even your pay. It's nice that it's because typically AEs are like half commish, half base.
Mm-hmm.
You have a solid base.
Yeah, so the base is solid. Like 125 is definitely very solid for someone, especially who I don't have closing experience. But that was the original contract. And since it's been a startup, the contract has evolved. So it's actually like it's a much better deal, to be frank. So like the full comp model is like, so the 125/40, which is paid out. So that's 165. Then I got a 20K signing bonus, so that was 185.
Nice.
And then now
After working there for 9 months, you got a signing bonus.
I got the signing bonus before.
Oh, got it.
But then every time we set up like a POV, so when a company wants to test out our product, I get $1,000 from that.
Oh shit.
And then I get 10% of every closed one deal because my role is technically hybrid.
Yeah.
So hopefully this year I'll net like 210, 220, but TBD.
So if you're getting 10% of closing deals, what's your 40K commission coming from?
My 40K was originally from booking the meetings. So I'm doing
40K from just booking meetings?
Yeah, so I'm doing BDR
Holy
work
shit.
and AE work.
Yeah, that's high. That's a lot.
I know, it was a great deal. I feel very fortunate.
Damn.
How many account executives are there?
There's just one. I'm the only like
And it's me.
yeah. I'm the only salesperson on the team.
Oh, gotcha.
Which is really fun actually because it's all engineers and then
And
there's
then
me.
it's just you.
And yeah, so if you guys want to speak developer talk.
He has a great photo of it looks like it's literally in Silicon Valley. It's around that area. And you look like Steve Jobs in the middle of a bunch of engineers. And the photo looks old school as shit too. And I'm like,
I love that.
Yeah, it looks like it was from the 90s.
yeah.
Oh my god,
It was great.
Fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
Wow.
Little did I know they raised 10 mil in that photo.
10 mil, yeah.
Yeah, that's
It's a wild
wild.
fact.
But I know that you becoming an account executive wasn't always necessarily the path. I mean, your career, it wasn't always the path, right?
No.
How'd you even get to this point?
Yeah, that's a good question.
And how, for the audience, how old are you today?
I'm 27. So I think, it's just interesting in general. Like we think we want certain things, but then you actually get a little bit more experience either in that direction or in another direction.
Mm-hmm.
And then you realize, oh, like, why was I thinking I wanted to go down that path?
Mm-hmm.
And it can happen the reverse.
Yeah.
You can, so for me, like at my last job, I wanted to move into product management, but there wasn't an opportunity for me there. So when I took this job, my thought process was, okay, I'm going to do a lot of the work that I had done before, but I don't really want to do it. So can I strike a deal with the founder and say, hey, I'll do this for you because you want someone with experience, but my intentions are fully to move down this other track. And it's really important for me to know whether you'd be supportive of that. And can we outline steps to get there? And that role was like a product management role. So basically helping allocate engineering resources and figure out what to build as the product evolves. So he was fully supportive of that, which was really great. But then as I was going through, as the company was growing, I took on a couple product projects that I owned from start to finish. And quite frankly, like I was not super enthused about it.
About
Like,
product
you might not
management
be into
anymore,
this.
is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
But weren't you a product manager even before you moved into sales?
I was an associate product manager. So basically what I did was very small slivers of greater product management tasks. So I wouldn't have called myself
So corporate.
yeah, and it was a corporate
God.
public company. So
It's like, I'm trained, I know.
yeah. Yeah. So, I would never say, hey, I have product management experience, because I'd probably just be embarrassing myself at that point.
And that product management experience was your very first job. I know a lot of people try to get into product management too.
Mhm.
How much were they paying you for that very first job?
So that very first job, really cool job, really cool company. If anyone's interested, it's called Axon. They make law enforcement technology. So
I
they do.
forgot you fucking work for Axon.
Yeah. Well, you know
Yeah,
Axon?
do you have
I lost a pretty big deal.
I was
with
gonna
Axon.
be like, ooh, what's your beef with Axon?
I love the people I worked with there, but I'm upset I lost the deal. But go on.
Yeah. Well, it's a really cool company that makes like police body cameras, tasers, like on the hardware side.
It's really cool.
Yeah, so cool.
So cool. Yeah, tasers, awesome. They do other stuff too, but so they had a rotational program, which is how I was able to get into product. Because product jobs in general are like very few, especially for new grads.
New grads, yeah.
So the path is typically into a rotational program or some sort of development program, most commonly that big tech companies like Google and Meta have. Axon was in the same category in terms of offering a structured APM program, but the pay was jack. It was like $75K.
What's your foot in the door?
It was my foot in the door, and
It's your
that's
front
what
door.
I cared about.
75K is good. It's a first job. 75K is
first-
really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
But foot in the door, then you move to sales. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a weird. You got here in a really weird way, which is
Very
funny.
roundabout, yeah.
But now it sounds like it's a great, position to be in. Even before that, like school wise,
Mm-hmm.
you went to an Ivy League school.
Mm-hmm.
You were on the rowing team.
Yes.
Yes. Did you get paid any nil or any money for being on the rowing team? Like,
This was pre athletes' rights in colleges.
gotcha.
Yeah, and
So
also
no envelope, like, or
Hey.
in a magazine, they're like turn to page 16.
yeah,
None
no,
of that.
no, yeah, and also just to paint a picture, like in college sports, there's football up here, right? Like, there's basketball right behind it, and then maybe at the bottom is like archery or something. Rowing's like even farther beneath that. Like, rowing,
I
they're
think
gonna
it
make
depends
you
what
pay.
school, though,
No,
right?
like UPenn has a rowing team with a lot of history,
Mhm.
but I'm not sure how much budget they're getting from the athletic
Oh.
department.
Oh.
Yeah, because when you think of like Stanford, Harvard, UPenn, you kind of think like rowing and swimming.
That's what I think of, at least, for some reason.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because I'm from the East Coast, so I feel like a lot of people that go to schools from the East Coast
Mhm.
did rowing in high school.
Us non-Ivy Leaguers.
Yeah.
Really breaking it down too.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's like it's such a good hack for getting into an Ivy League school.
Yeah.
Because
I was going to be a coxswain in high school just for that.
why didn't you?
I didn't want to wake up at 4 a.m.
It's a trade-off.
I didn't know that. Now I know. That's my regret, if you ever ask me, is not doing rowing in high school.
Was that a full ride for you?
No, it wasn't a full ride. So Ivy Leagues don't offer scholarships typically,
Oh.
Oh, really?
athletic scholarships, or they do, but
It's like
there's
rare.
it's rare or something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it just granted you admission to the school.
Yeah, so the way it works is like you row and rowing is obviously a small No, you row.
You rode to the school.
Show up in a boat.
It's a machine.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all it takes. No, like you basically because rowing is like really small, right? Like people don't start rowing like they start playing other sports.
Mhm.
They don't start when they're 5.
Hmm.
They don't start like football or soccer or basketball. A lot of people start in high school
Mhm.
and then are able to get recruited to colleges
That's a good point.
because the market is so small, right? So basically the thought process was, because I remember it like very, very vividly. I was like at a friend's house and his dad, who went to Harvard, I didn't know anyone who went to an Ivy League school before. And he was like, "Oh, you're such a tall kid. Like you should row. Like colleges will love that. Like you could go to an Ivy League." And I literally just took those words and was like, Okay,
Yeah.
that's the
Cool.
truth.
I just needed someone to tell me that.
I just needed someone to tell me that, and that was it. And that was the angle.
This
That's
clip is gonna go out, and now all these kids in like middle school are gonna be like, "I'm gonna row."
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. So you paid full tuition.
So, well, yeah.
Yes,
My
basically.
parents paid
Yeah,
full tuition.
but generally speaking, you basically paid full tuition.
Full tuition, yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy. I thought they'd at least like throw you a little bone out there in the Ivy League.
They gave me a sweatsuit that was really unfashionable.
Oh.
And that's about it.
Could have maybe made it. It'd be hard to make a brand off fucking rowing too, even if nil was available in your time. Like, how many people on TikTok or like Instagram do we watch
Oh.
athletes? Then we care about them rowing.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not many.
Yeah, far and few between.
I mean, it's not a
Actually.
very exciting sport. It's just the same motion over and over again. So.
Yeah, if it's not even gonna get you a scholarship, well,
It's
at least it gets your foot in
exciting,
the
like
door.
you know that one scene in Harry Potter when they're Harry Potter when they're rowing? Is it Harry Potter or is it something else?
Were they in a broom?
Oh, wait, no, it's
Were
not
they
Harry
flying
Potter.
in the sky?
It's not Harry
Then,
Potter.
yeah.
Instead of water,
I
you
mixed
mean
that up.
like the
I
sky.
mixed that up with you probably didn't watch Wednesday.
No, I
I
haven't.
watched Wednesday.
Oh, did you remember the rowing
No.
scene? What?
No,
There was a whole
no.
competition. They dressed up.
No, I don't remember.
Is there like a elite society of UPenn people now out in like New York
Oh.
City, San Francisco that you've used to help network and get places, or it's not really?
Not really. Like, I've never been reached out to by someone at Penn. And
Oh my God.
yeah, I think the people who work in investment banking and consulting
Mhm.
get a lot of those emails.
Gotcha.
But you know, I think the path that I'm on is pretty non-traditional from like a cohort basis
Mm-hmm.
of people who graduated into my class. Like A, working in startups, and B, working in sales. It's kind of taboo.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting to hear. And
It's interesting.
speaking of the money that you have now, let's just say for shits and giggles, it's like around the 165K mark plus commish
Mm-hmm.
ish area. How does that spend look like? Like, how much are you typically pulling in per paycheck? So
Mhm.
biweekly, how much are you spending per month?
Mhm.
Like, just high level.
In terms of, I don't really know per paycheck. Honestly, maybe I should.
Do you get biweekly?
I get
Or
bi-weekly.
It'd be scrappy if you didn't too. They're just like giving
Yeah,
you
like,
money when they can.
whenever they can.
Yeah, that would be a different situation. It's like one lump sum at the end of the year. Like, oh no.
You have to budget oh my God.
Yeah.
It's a nightmare.
No, so like I don't really look at it like that. Like I think maybe somewhere to the tune of 4,000 to 7,000 depending on the month. So my first check of the month is always just like my standard rate. And then I get all my bonuses paid out at the end of the month.
Okay.
So my end of month check is normally significantly bigger than my first half of the month check.
Got you. That makes sense.
But yeah, so basically like the way I try to do it is I just try to cut like 2K out of each paycheck. And right now I'm just putting it in cash accounts. So I just take that 2K, throw it in, and then I use the rest for my spending.
You're able to save 2K a month out there?
I'm able to save 2K a month. Or sorry,
That's
2K
nice.
per paycheck, so 4K a month.
Whoa.
4K a
whoa.
month.
How
Yeah.
much is your rent?
My rent is $5,500.
Alone?
Just for you?
Just alone. No, I'm kidding.
Oh my God.
Like, the math is not adding up here.
Math
Yeah.
is
Something's
not
fishy.
Yeah.
No,
It's
so
voodoo economics.
voodoo economics. The only way I'm really able to save that much is because my roommates got a sweet apartment, but they locked it in at a COVID price.
Oh.
So it's like a 3-bedroom apartment in a really awesome neighborhood.
Mm,
We only each pay $1,500.
That's amazing.
that's awesome.
Wow.
It's literally robbery, but we live in the same building with the landlord, and they love us, and they haven't brought up raising it once.
Yeah. Have y'all been robbed while you're out there? Because it seems like it's been pretty bad out there, but it's been, from the New York side, we're looking
Yeah, it seems like
Crime wise?
in San
Oh,
Francisco.
I didn't know that.
I mean,
are you okay?
it looks bad. Yeah. How's everything going?
I'm okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
I'm okay. I appreciate you. asking.
1,500.
Nice.
It ain't a COVID deal anymore, baby.
Yeah,
It's
there's
been-
nothing to steal. It's 1,500.
It's been a couple of years now.
Yeah. But yeah,
Wow.
crime. Yeah,
Relatively safe. I'll busting your balls, but at the same time, I'm actually curious. Like, what's it like? Out
No,
there?
I mean, I get that question a lot. Like, my family's like, "Oh, San Francisco, like, you got to stay safe." I'm like, it's not like, it's not like you're walking around and people are pulling knives on you. Or like,
Well,
you're feeling,
there's a subway slasher here. Did you hear about that? They just caught him yesterday.
Did they really?
Slashing girls' legs for the past 3 days.
Holy
Oh
shit!
my
Really?
God.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I didn't know about it until I saw on TikTok yesterday.
I
that
didn't
he
hear
was
about that
caught.
either.
Subway
So
slash.
you don't have one of those.
We
I hope.
might. We
Oh,
might.
actually, you might, given
Yeah.
the rates, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
we can get away with it. Yeah.
Damn, $4K a month is awesome. And why only cash accounts today? Like, how come not investing?
So right now I'm just doing cash, and part of the reason is because I haven't really been actively looking at investments. Typically what I'll do is throw money in like some Vanguard, like ETFs or index funds. And then I try to allocate like, 10% to some sort of risky asset, like some form of crypto, or like maybe that's not considered risky for some.
No, it's definitely risky.
Yeah,
It
definitely risky,
fluctuates.
Yeah.
So
I'm
much.
out. I'm fully out.
You're fully out.
Yeah, I'm fully out.
I'm
Yeah.
holding on to hoping that something will go up soon.
I'm right there with you. Yeah.
I like having people also in that boat.
Yeah. We can manifest it. Yeah.
Yeah,
2 to 1 here. So
exactly.
Yeah.
it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, dead ass.
No, but so like typically it would be like, split between cash, index funds, something risky, whether it's crypto, whether it's like a stock that I've been following for a while that seems lower than usual. When I tend to make investments in stocks, the way I tend to do it, and I don't have any track record really. I mean, the limited track record I have isn't enough to say whether it's a good strategy or not. But I'm just being honest. Like, yeah. So basically, the only strategy I would take though is, at least now after I got burned pretty badly,
Oh.
what is basically just looking at like industrial stocks. So stocks that are within like metals, mining, coal, etc.
Oh shit.
And typically those tend to be pretty cyclical, and there's fluctuations.
Can you explain for the audience and also myself what
And Ron's.
what cyclical means?
So cyclical would mean like, there's a relative level of predictability to when these types of stocks go up and down, and it's because the whole sector tends to get impacted at the same time.
It's like commodities.
Oh.
in a
Yeah.
sense,
And then they
yep.
grow at the same time.
They tend to be
Interesting.
highly correlated in how they all kind of rise and fall. So like in a really simplistic example, like if you were, say you were investing in like just general like metals companies or like mining companies, if you're at the end of a bull run and then like, construction's kind of stopping or something like that, like those companies are going to kind of start to sag a little bit. And then if you're in a boom time, companies are building, houses are getting built, copper pipes are getting installed, all these things. There's kind of like a rising tide for those types of materials.
That's
Oh,
crazy.
So you get in when it's lower, and then it
Yeah.
just obviously builds.
Yeah, the problem is that those cycles aren't every day.
That's true.
So,
So it's very long term.
it's kind of long term.
Hedge funds make a lot of money off like commodity type trades too,
Oh.
whether it's like around oil. That's where they make their biggest bets. From what I've heard, someone I'm close friends with now, respect him a lot. When he was younger, there was this one opportunity that he had where he would literally buy silver, like
Wow.
hold like silver in your hand,
Right.
Tangible material, and he was like stacking safes in his house because his friend told him that silver was gonna go up in like a year.
Wow.
So he just had like a safe house in his own house, and once silver did go up, he made like a couple tens of grands. I don't know what
Nice.
the word is for that.
Wow.
Tens of
Couple
thousands.
tens of thousands.
Couple tens of thousands.
Tens of grands.
Tens of grands. But same word. It is a riskier asset because you don't know which.
Yeah.
It depends. They always say it fluctuates, but maybe one day it doesn't.
Right.
You don't. You never really know. But that's interesting. So what do you? All this money that you're saving up, like, what are you saving up for?
It's a good
These cash
question.
accounts.
Yeah. So part of me is saving up for some sort of macro event like COVID, where there's a bunch of things that get impacted almost unreasonably. And so you can put a lot of money in those instances. That or the big swings in those more industrial stocks. So that's kind of one category. More recently, the category that I've been thinking about is real estate investing.
Oh, talk to me, because I'm thinking about real estate too.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hopefully we got a lot to talk about that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of been something that's been in the back of my head. Like everyone's like, oh, if like real estate's such a good way to build wealth. I was like, yeah, I'm sure.
Passive income is what the other guy said last week.
Yeah.
Passive income. But then there's also appreciation on the asset itself.
Yeah, because true passive is not real in my mind.
Yeah, that's very true.
True passive is not real.
Like as in you don't have to do any work to get.
Oh yeah, you got to keep the asset worth it to make the money on.
Or put work on the asset. You can't just buy a home and expect not to, like, anything could happen.
Yeah.
And not take care of it.
Like up the value of it. So I guess that takes work, huh? So it's not really passive. I'm agreeing with you. Yeah. I'm just going through it in my head.
If you consider passive, like maybe like 2 hours a week, 4 hours a week even, all right, sure.
Yeah.
But if you think like passive is like you could literally do nothing.
Yeah.
And make money, that's where I'm a skeptic about that.
I agree.
I think there are circumstances where you really don't have to do that much. Like I feel like within this is just my view from a layman's perspective, but like if it was residential real estate, it might be a situation where you buy something that needs a lot of work, you flip it, and that's part of the sell. Or it could be a situation where you buy something new, where there's not a lot of maintenance work because it's new, and you have really good tenants who take care of it, and maybe the maintenance work and stuff that you're involved in really isn't that significant. I don't know.
That's why it depends on what you mean by passive. I think some people, like the gurus, sell it as if like you literally have to do no work and you have multiple streams of revenue.
Yeah,
it's like, all right.
Yeah. But yeah, my mom bought a house down the shore and now she rents it out during the summertime, like every week, and goes and does maintenance like once a week before each person comes in. So that's like a lot of time. And then she like gets a cleaning lady, like all this stuff. So it's still like technically passive because she's not there every day, but like maintenance is definitely something.
So I mean, you got to put some effort into these properties.
Definitely.
Right. But you said they change out the people.
Yeah, once a week.
Okay, that's a lot of work.
It's like Airbnb is what you're saying. Basically.
Yeah, it's basically Airbnb.
Got it.
It is Airbnb. She does it through Airbnb.
Got you.
And some other services.
You're talking more like long-term tenants.
Yeah, like get a long-term tenant who's happy.
Oh, like lives there.
Lives there.
That makes sense.
I want to go to my place though. Sometimes I get what you're saying now. Yeah.
Why do you want to go to your place though?
Because where I'm thinking of where I want to buy my house is like basically like a lake house.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a getaway. I'm not trying to go there often though, and I want it basically to pay for itself through Airbnb or whatever short-term rentals, for the property tax and then the mortgage. Like I'm not trying to make a profit off of it.
Right.
I want to use it to be able to get away from the city.
I see.
But still doing the math right now of like, okay, realistically speaking, in peak season of Airbnb, how many times do you have to rent this out? Assuming, right, there's what's the percentage of this actually getting booked versus not? All that factors. But at the end of the day, I don't even care if I'm down under, as long as it's like pretty much paying for itself. That's a huge win for me.
Totally. Yeah.
But that's how I'm looking at it. It sounded like you're looking at like long-term rentals.
Yeah, I think like a long-term rental where I really don't have to do that much work, and I don't really need to be there either.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's a thing. I just don't really know much about real estate. Me
neither, honestly. I've just been learning this because I only took this approach too because my mentor, one of my mentors, love him, you know him. I won't say his name here, but he does this in Michigan.
I see.
He literally has an Airbnb, does the same thing. He's the one that gave me it. And he got his idea from his mentor.
Oh my God.
So it's like,
who's your little mentee?
A mentor tree.
The lineage.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe it's the Eat My Assets fan.
Yeah.
Let me do it first.
Right.
Let me figure it out. With savings, awesome, by the way. I love that you're doing that. What savings account? Are you using a high interest savings account like Marcus? Like which?
I'm just using Robinhood cash account right now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's high. It's like 4.5.
I think it's 4.6.
Oh, damn.
Oh, wow.
I don't really know.
Is that FDIC insured?
Honestly, I don't know.
You're like, it's been working so far, so
They're too big to fail.
Just too big to fail, hopefully, knock on wood.
Just like Silicon Valley Bank.
Yeah, just like SVB.
Yeah.
Our money was in SVB, by the way.
Oh, so is our
wow.
companies, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I remember that. Everyone was very stressed.
I knew they're gonna get bailed out. I wasn't worried
Yeah.
for a second.
Oh, well
I'm
then-
sure my company was
Good.
making moves to scramble, but I was calling my colleague. He was freaking out, and I'm like,
What was
dude, they're too big to fail.
Too big to fail. So many. They had so
Mhm.
many startups money. Like that would have
Oh, yeah.
not only like economic ripples, but it's just also like optically, just like U.S. innovation. Like if all these startups went under, like that would not be good.
It was the middle class they're
Mhm.
affecting. People don't understand. What was it? Can we look this up? How many companies? I'm pretty sure it was 10,000 businesses in Silicon Valley Bank, and
Mhm.
that's the middle class. It's not like giant corporations. But you were saying your entire company was also in.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there was a period of scramble for like a day or two, but I think they knew they were going to get it out as well. So
They're like, you know what? We won't do anything.
no, they got it
It'll work
out. It's
itself
like,
out.
yeah. It's like in like money market funds now or something. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you're saying all of your money is in Robinhood, the
No,
savings wise, or do you have multiple money market accounts?
I have like a human interest IRA, I think,
Oh yeah.
through my job.
Yeah.
I have, what else do I have? I have like my equity from like working in startups that's in Carta. But then, yeah, the bulk of my cash is in Robinhood. And then I think I have some in like Charles Schwab, but it's like a nominal amount.
Maybe Robinhood is too big to fail too. Like, what if they just went down?
Then, I start from scratch. Do
I
you guys like Bard or ChatGPT more?
He thinks Bard is better, but sometimes it's not maybe right.
Mm-hmm.
like
then-
Bard for real time. I think
Well,
ChatGPT
that's-
is better.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. That's what I
ChatGPT
meant
is
to
better.
say. Bard is more updated with information, but sometimes it could not be right. But then
Right.
ChatGPT is like probably more right.
I got you. Yeah. I had the
I
same
think.
experience. I also like the way Bard presents information. It just feels, I don't know.
It gives you a lot.
Yeah.
So the bank itself had over 30,000 clients.
30,000.
And even though if you're saying that there is Airbnb, Amazon, these big companies, yeah, they didn't have a lot of money in the bank though, in that
Mhm.
specific bank. They had some money in that bank. But mainly it was startups in Silicon Valley Bank. So
Wow.
just something to consider for
That's crazy.
everybody else, and maybe even your future Robinhood.
Right. Yeah.
we'll see what happens there.
Yeah.
What about like credit cards you're using today? What kind of credit cards are you using? Why are you using those credit cards?
That's, yeah. I know a lot of people put a lot of thought into their credit cards, because like they offer different savings
The
or
points and
yeah, points and all that. I've never really thought twice about that. Maybe I'm leaving money on the table, maybe I'm not. My thought process was like, it's got to even out at some point, right? Like if you're
What do you mean by
like you got to be paying for something, or like maybe you're getting subsidized. I don't know. I mean, if
something's got to give.
Something's
That's
gotta
what you're looking at.
I love that.
yeah, like something's got to give. So it's like, do you have a higher interest rate or like something? I don't know.
Like, what's your annual fee?
Yeah, annual fee. Like
The unknown scaring you is what it sounds like.
yeah, it's like I'm not gonna read the fine print too. Time is money, right? Like, no, I just have Bank of America. I use my Bank of America debit card pretty much for everything. I try not to use my credit card.
You use your debit card for everything.
Yeah, I don't like the idea. I used to use my credit card a lot, and then the idea of just like, oh, like I don't want to spend money, so I'm just gonna put on my credit card, and then I end up spending more than I would have otherwise because
Yeah.
I put meals and all this stuff on it. It's just you're just creating an obligation for yourself in the future. I found I was saving less once I started getting serious about, okay, these are the bars that I want to set for my savings. I realized, okay, what are the levers I can pull? My rent's low. Why am I not hitting this? It's theoretically possible. Well, it's my credit card bill. And is it because I'm spending it on like a house or a TV? No, it's because I'm just ramping up all these little
Yeah.
extraneous expenses that I would not have spent if I was just using my debit card. Potentially even better, maybe I should just carry cash. Because
Wow.
because it's like, do I really like parting with like the
Oh,
paper
God.
bill? Probably not. I'd probably save maybe 10% more.
Wow.
I don't know. it's a good experiment.
Maybe I need to be like this, Mike, to get rid of my credit card.
That's
debt.
what. So in your case, yeah, you got to get rid of the credit card. Him is interesting because
He has
he's a
self-control.
high income earner,
Oh, you're right.
and the self control to cash.
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't
Like-
actually do that.
Oh,
but
what are you
I'm
thinking?
saying
That was hypothetical.
it's something that I've thought about testing for sure.
You're probably right. And what's funny about this is like, you're a really smart dude. I know you're a smart ass dude, and your explanation of it was like made a ton of sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was about to shit on you, but your explanation.
I was expecting
Actually
you to
makes a ton
shit
of
on him,
sense.
and then I was like, he can't. That was too good.
What was the counter argument?
Well, the fact of you being a high income earner, you're missing
Mhm.
money on the table by not these points and rewards. There's ways you don't even have to hack it much.
Mm.
Like a great example is Amex Gold Card. If you do delivery, Uber Eats or Grubhub, you get 200. It's $250 a year.
Mhm.
Off the get go, you get $240 in credits. So technically, you're only paying like $10 for the credit card,
Okay.
and then you get a ton of points, another like 4x points that could then be for per dollar.
Right.
That could then be transferred to airlines, so you could fly free. You could get hotels for free. All the shit, whatever it comes with, right?
Right.
But in your case, though, that is a great point because if I didn't have any of my credit cards and I just used my debit card, I said this is the only amount. Like I can't touch the other money's gone.
Right.
This is the amount I could touch for the month. Yeah, I probably would be saving a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
Like.
Yeah.
So that's why I can't hate what you're saying. Makes total sense to me.
Okay. Cool.
Not that I don't think you're a psychopath, but
Yeah.
it makes total sense to me.
Yeah.
I think if I had the money to then have that card and have that lifestyle, I'd probably lean that way only because I don't have this self-control to not use a credit card.
Makes
Mm.
for sure.
So you just have to know
100%.
yourself
Got it.
well.
Yeah.
That's where my brain went.
What credit card are you using then? Because he has
Yeah.
you mentioned, he has self control. So, but he
Mhm.
doesn't.
Well, I'm not perfect. I overspend. you
Yeah.
know, but
Have you used someone that has self control?
Yeah. If I have self control, then that's a problem. Yeah. I've racked up some bills. No. No. I just have Bank of America. It's like a MasterCard.
Oh wait,
my
It's like
it's a
not
debit
sexy.
card and the MasterCard. Oh,
So yeah, I have a debit card, and yeah, they're both red. Nothing fancy. They're both
Nice.
plastic.
they're
Nothing metal.
partners.
They're what?
They're partners. They look cute together because they're the same.
Yeah, they're different shades of red.
Oh,
You know.
fun.
Yeah.
Are you paying yearly for I'm looking up right now the Bank of America MasterCard. Are you paying any yearly fees or not?
I have no idea.
It says no annual fee, some shitty cashback rewards, some travel rewards, but you're not
I
even
heard
using
Bank
it.
America does have travel rewards though.
Yeah, they have some here, but you're not even using it, right?
I'm not even using it.
Yeah.
It's actually funny. I had a car at one point, and then I sold it, and I would fill up my gas with my Bank of America. My Bank of America card. And I was like, oh yeah, like points, let's go. Like pretty soon I'm gonna do it. I went spent like thousands of dollars on gas over time. It was like $20 or something ridiculous in like savings.
Yeah.
So or whatever points, credits. So yeah, that's definitely, if you want that, don't get that card.
Oh well, you know what? You bring up a good point. Even the free ones are great because if there's free cards out there that give you like 2% cash back.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes Discover gives you 5%.
Yeah,
Sometimes
That's
cash
the one I
back,
have.
and it's free. But the whole self control thing, that's up in the
Yeah.
air. What about switching gears a little bit? What about like entrepreneurial experience? Have you tried any ventures on your own?
Yeah, I have, and I can't even say if I try. Well, yeah, there's a few different like things that I've learned, and I haven't really had any entrepreneurial success, but I have had intention to drive towards that, and there's things that I've learned. So like the first actual real lesson in entrepreneurship.
Sorry, it's my Be Real. I'm so sorry.
Oh, nice.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Is it a picture or a movie?
It's a Be Real. It like happens once a day at a certain time, and then you have to show what you're doing in real time, or else you're
Right.
fake.
Oh,
I had to do it.
Okay,
I'm done now.
understandable.
Just keep talking, not here.
We're good.
My first lesson in entrepreneurship, and again, I'm not a seasoned entrepreneur by any sense of imagination, but it was when I was really young, and it was actually a traumatic memory that is seared in my brain. So basically, I think I was in kindergarten or something like that.
Oh my god.
Whoa.
And we learned how to like make fans in class.
Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
So it was like taking construction paper, like folding them and then stapling them and making these fans. I thought it was super cool. And basically it was hot, and so I got home from school, took the bus home, got home from school, made a bunch of these fans.
oh.
And there was another school where the kids got off at the same bus, and there was a lot of kids in my neighborhood who went to that school. They would all come running down the hill. I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to make fans, and then I'm going to sell them at the end of my driveway because they pass by. So I made all of these fans really quickly. And then, I set up a little table. I had like 45 minutes to do it. And then all these kids came down the hill, and they were like, oh, are you selling lemonade? I was like, no, I'm selling fans. And they were all like a little bit older. And they're literally like, what the fuck is this? They're like, this is so stupid. Like, they just like walked away.
Oh
And that was my lesson. And like, I thought I knew what the market wanted, but I was completely wrong.
At 4 years old or 5 years old, whatever kindergarten is.
I was
I
completely
was just
wrong.
helping out.
How much
Yeah.
are you selling them for? That also helps.
I can't remember. It was somewhere probably between 5 cents and 25 cents,
Damn.
or maybe 50 cents. I don't know.
Damn, that's so sad.
I know. So that was that one. The second one was after I was working at Axon, which was my first real job out of college, and it was a big company, and I basically had this like thought process of, okay, like I want to start a startup at some point. Like, this is a big company. It's really slow moving. I'm not really fulfilled. Should I just start it now? Like, should I just go for it? And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. So I stayed there for a year. I like saved up a little bit of money, my equity vested. And then as soon as I could, I was out. And I'd been working on a few ideas before. But basically, I was like, I feel like a lot of people can relate to this. I was really unhappy in my job.
Mhm.
And so part of me just really wanted to make a change.
Yeah.
It was very emotional. And the way I justified it to myself was, hey, I'm going to start a company at some point. Why not do it now? I'm young. I can take risks. I can afford to do this. Like, why don't I just do it now? Also, how long is it going to take to figure something out? If I apply myself, maybe a year, maybe 2, but I'll figure something out. And I was just like not in the headspace to do it. So I quit my job, packed everything up, went to stay with a friend in LA, and I had a couple ideas I was working on, but very quickly I realized like these ideas probably weren't going anywhere. I didn't have anyone technical who I was partnered with. My savings were running out. I was getting more and more stressed out by the day because I realized I had made an emotional decision to quit my job.
Interesting.
And it was right kind of in the middle of COVID.
Oh.
So like everything was kind of shut down. Long story short, I like kind of went through this mini depression where I was like, waking up with all this regret in the middle of the night. Like, why did I do that? Like, that was so stupid.
Damn.
I should have kept my job. And it's actually, I think, a compelling story because my younger sister, she works here in New York. She does design, like at a fashion company.
How's that? I didn't know that.
Yeah, and she was thinking of quitting her job and going more like an artistic route.
Mhm.
And I told her that story. I was like, look, like, you don't know what that's going to be like, and you can do a lot now to de-risk that when you do make that move.
Yeah.
So, like, you need to really, really think critically about if you're going to quit your job and pursue something. And there's probably a lot you can do so that you can hit the ground running once you get to that point.
I've had this conversation with so many people, and there's no right or wrong answer. It depends on the job situation you're at and how much flexibility you actually have and time. Time.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest thing is time.
And money, honestly.
Yeah. Because in most cases, you don't just get up and out and leave your job and you have a ton of money. Like, no one's, in our age, no one really has it like that, But it's interesting nonetheless. Like the kid you met, Julian. So my friend Julian, killing it on YouTube and TikTok right now. Like hundreds of thousands of subscribers on YouTube. Same thing, millions in TikTok, yada yada. Right? He quit his job, full-time banking. Basically, boss told him, "Hey, you gotta choose. If you decide, we're gonna give you a giant raise, but if you decide to stay here, you gotta cut the shit." Right? No more podcasting, none of that. and he tries the route of like, I'm not happy here, I'm gonna go full time. So he's had his ups and downs, of course, just like anyone else, but like it takes a while. To your point, it takes a while and like straight dedication and knowing what you want to get to the point where he's gotten to now.
Right.
You know, where there still is struggles, but he's hit that inflection point of like now it's like exponential growth.
Right.
You know?
No, I think it's a good question of like, where is there inflection point, and how much can you do to get to that inflection point before you pull the trigger?
Yeah, because you could just, that's a great point. It could just be a really bad idea what you do, and you just
exactly.
Yeah.
That's a tough question. I don't know the exact answer to it, but it's, you know, I can definitely understand what happened. That sucks, by the way, that you had that.
It was a great experience, honestly, in hindsight.
Yeah.
I feel like you've grown and learned a lot from that now.
Yeah. Like, I forgot who said it, but it's something like every bad experience in your life, you end up looking back at with gratitude. And like, that was easily the most stressful thing in my life. Like, I was out of my mind. And like, I moved home. I was like sleeping on the couch in my parents' place. They thought I was like completely like, they were so concerned. And then I eventually bounced back, but I just learned like to be more patient. That was probably the biggest thing. Like,
yeah.
That is the best thing to learn from something, patience.
Yeah.
Truly. Like, if we're going to get deep, like, that is the hardest thing to learn and understand.
Why do you think so?
Should I go deep?
I don't know.
We can save it for after.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
So how much ever you want to say about the situation?
I don't. Okay, I'll go deep, but cut it out if it's too deep. But it's like when you don't have patience, one, you're gonna miss everything that's happening in front of you, like with whoever you're with, your friends or whatever you're experiencing. But then, because you're always kind of looking for the next thing, or you're impatient, waiting to make more, waiting to do more, like wanting to go on that trip or wanting to have that job. But like you forget, like part of getting there is like doing all the things in between and like experiencing it, and that is patience at the end of the day.
Right.
But
yeah, no, it's a good point. It's complicated though, because it's like kind of what you're saying. It's like you need patience to get to where you want to go. But then on the other hand, there's this other idea of like, don't be patient.
Exactly.
Do.
I struggle with that because I'm like, should I be doing this and this and this and this to get here, or should I just appreciate where I'm at? That's my biggest struggle right now.
I feel like it's like, be impatient about the actions you're taking, but be patient about the results.
Perfect. That was perfect.
That was beautifully said.
That was honestly exactly what we're clipping that out. That's gonna or into a clip. That's gonna be the clip.
Everything you mentioned there, I think that's the what you were saying, Ron's, is like the problem that founders run into. You dedicate so much time to your business. It's actually a lot of fucking work if you're actually going to be successful.
Yeah.
And because of that, you're like, life is like flying by you, and like how long do you have to be in this position to finally make it out of like this whatever founder, hole you're at. And I think it makes it easy for me to know like I want my own startup because I've experienced a lot in moving towards late 20s, like done a lot of fun shit. Gonna continue to do fun shit, but I'm ready. Like, I understand now like what it's gonna take to be a founder. And I'm accepting of that, like the amount of work
it's what
it's going to
he
take.
Was saying. Being impatient about those next actions will get you to that place of like seeing your whole business successfully.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna forget. I'm gonna tell everyone this about patience.
Okay, great. I've succeeded.
It's all full circle. Yeah. What would you say then? What's your biggest financial regret? Was it what we just talked about, or was there something else that you've done that was like?
I would say my biggest financial regret. Wow. I think there's two big regrets. The first one was, I don't know how much of a regret this was. Actually, it was totally a regret. So I bought. So when I graduated from college, I moved to Arizona for the company that I was working at. And my commute was like 30 minutes, so I needed a car. So I bought a new car, and I went back and forth on whether or not I should do that. And I ended up doing it. And part of my thought process was, well, I'm going to be out here for a while. I only ended up being there for a year. But anyways, so it was like $650, $700 in payments. Then there's insurance,
month?
and there's gas. It was like $600 or something.
Okay.
Oh my god.
I forgot like the time frame I was doing it on.
Yeah.
It was just like eat away, and I didn't save anything in that time period.
Holy shit! Really?
So I needed a
Cars are
car.
the worst.
Yeah. So I needed a car, but I didn't explore my options thoroughly enough, and it was such a big expense that it really dinged me.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's tough. That's a great financial regret. What was
Yeah.
the other one you were gonna say?
The other one was investing really heavily at the top of a bull market. Like basically it was like the end of the most recent bull market, and Robinhood, like, right, they came out with their IPO feature. I was like, oh, like I'm gonna buy these stocks, they're gonna go up, they're like tech stocks. And I was just like caught up in the hype, like straight up. I was like, I'm a disciplined investor. No, bullshit. Like I was super emotional. I had so much FOMO. Like I wasn't happy with how much I was making at the time, and I was desperate to compensate. And therefore I didn't see things clearly.
Yeah.
And I ended up putting a lot of money in companies that are still probably objectively good companies, but they were probably valued more than they were worth.
Yeah.
So right now I am down big time on a lot of holdings.
Oh no way! Really?
Yeah, big time. So yeah, I learned my lesson. I mean, relatively speaking, it wasn't a lot of money in the grand scheme of things, but like in terms of my net worth at the time, it was a good amount of money. So a good percentage.
You're gonna have major capital losses, it sounds like, if you sell it.
Yes.
If you sell, but you can't offset that with the bonuses that you get from your job, unfortunately.
Okay.
So it can only be offset with other capital gains, or up to $3,000 of your ordinary income per year. So maybe you sell $3,000 at a loss, so you get some tax benefits.
I see.
Is that worth it, losing $3,000?
Unless you think the stock is just gonna, skyrocket. Yeah, it could be worth it. You get money back on taxes, so it could be beneficial. But do you think they're winners?
I think one of them's a winner. I think a couple of them are dogs. Also, I did lose a lot in crypto too at the top of that market.
Oh shit!
But again, it's like I needed to. I needed to be humbled. I needed to lose some money in the long term. That wasn't going to be that impactful. I needed to learn my lessons.
Also, it makes you more capable of investing when you do have some losses, because then you know the risk there, so you just keep kind of
spot on.
You know what you're getting
Or you become
into.
scared and you're like, you don't get it in the next bull run.
No, I'm definitely getting in. I'm definitely getting in.
Yeah, your strategy's buy low, sell high.
Yeah.
So we like to ask people if you have a financial fetish, which is something that you do that other people may not do, but gives you pleasure financially.
I invest in a lot of NFT feet pics. No, I'm kidding.
I'm like, that's not even that weird.
There's probably a big market.
Yeah.
Honestly, I bet there is a market for that.
That's what I'm saying. It's not that weird. I can see it.
Yeah. Financial fetish. So, sorry, does it have to be related to investing or could it be spending?
Any form of any money.
Okay.
No, that's it. That's spot
on. I think, speaking of categories that like I don't have any problem spending money in, it's music related stuff.
I love that.
Yeah. So like part of my 5-year plan is around like continuing to create and produce music. And I just want to see like what kind of traction I get. I try to create my music like stuff that moves me personally. And if it ends up getting traction with other people, like I'll ride that wave. But right now I'm just really focused on like, okay, like how do I become the best songwriter I am potentially capable of? And to do that, like there's different areas, right? So it's like you got to learn how to write songs. So a lot of that you can study on your own and just practice. There are communities that you can join
and boot camps
and stuff like that. In terms of tools, so like having the right equipment. So like I invested in a very expensive guitar that will last me a lifetime.
Which one?
It's called a Martin D28.
Ooh.
It's like kind of all my heroes played it too. It's just such a beautiful guitar. So like spending on stuff like that, on recording equipment, home studio stuff, that stuff adds up, as I'm sure you know. vocal lessons, all that stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome, bro.
Nice.
It's
That's
worth it.
so fun.
You're investing in yourself is what you're doing.
100%.
Spending time with
and
yourself.
having a creative outlet.
Yeah, it's 2 birds, 1 stone for
Yeah.
sure.
What about any do you know any life hacks that could be useful for anyone else? Like financial hacks, ways to save money.
So life hacks. I just think like a general good mentality is like, if you don't lie to yourself about the amount that you're saving. So like, if you're saying, okay, I'm gonna save $1,000 per paycheck, but then you still have $3,000 on your credit card bill, you're not saving any money. You're really not. You're actually in debt. In fact, you're not. Yeah, you're not saving money.
In fact, you're in debt.
Newsflash. So, to me, like true saving is like you gotta net out your debts. So just like keeping that in mind and doing that. Yeah, that's like probably my.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Tip. Yeah.
No, that's super
If
fair.
I heard that 2 years ago, I wouldn't be in debt. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
You're welcome to the hypothetical self.
The last 2 questions I have here, and they're related. Maybe starting off with how you even got to where you're at right now, potentially making $200K plus this year. How can someone else watching this today, maybe they're in your field, maybe they're not, how do they get to the point where you're at? First question.
So the good news about sales is that you don't have to be a rocket scientist to do it. And I think the biggest thing for like getting a high paying sales role is making sure you're getting in at the right company. And there's like a couple ways to do that. So you could go to a more mature company where you might not get as much pay, but maybe it'll be a little bit more balanced. You'll like learn the craft a little bit better. But if you want to be a little bit scrappier, you can go work for a startup in a sales role. And the plus sides of that is that you get to do more of the sales process. You get a higher percentage of equity. And if you're interested in startups, it's a good way to get to like familiarize yourself with, the founder mentality, because you're spending a lot of time with the founders, and that's like a very valuable experience. And for me, like wanting to start a company, I didn't really know any developers. So now I'm like one of a team of 20. Everyone else is a developer besides me. They're all pretty young. So now I have a network if I ever want to start a company.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
and
that's great.
What does that mean for your future? So what you mentioned some things around the music when you want to start your own company. Like what are your personal goals for the future? What's from here?
I think right now I want to, from like a vocation standpoint, I want to like kind of master sales. Like I want that to kind of be my skill set in the economy. And so that means, learning to sell more deals, bigger deals, probably managing some people. I'd like to like lead sales at a startup in a few years' time. And then eventually start my own company. But I'm flexible on the path. So like if music takes off, I would pursue music happily.
And
If
then
not,
you still have that fallback.
Yeah, exactly. And if not, like I'm super excited to do a company as well. I'm excited for both paths. So TBD.
Aww,
Yeah.
I love this.
I appreciate you hopping on the show. I know it's not easy to talk about financial stuff with people, but what's really nice though is that people get to learn your journey, your path here, where you're trying to go in the future, and then maybe when you get there, we could talk about how you got there.
Totally.
Part of the app that we're building low key, make it really easy to progress your career like Mr. David is doing over here. But with that, for everyone else, thank you so much for tuning in. As far as episodes go, you can follow us in most social platforms: Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Spotify as well. So if you want to listen on the go, I'm not a big fan of Apple Music, but maybe I've been biased. Maybe we should start posting over there as well. But until then, again, thank you very much. And Rons, if you want to close us out.
See you in our studio next time, right?
Oh, maybe.
If I lied, then
might be you.